Hey everyone, welcome to My Rising Rose, where we expand our consciousness to unify ourselves with the cosmic family via channeling with deities and dragons, where we blend the dynamic unity of dark and light, and where we ground it all in our everyday, ordinary humanity. So today is another one of these videos where I'm not totally sure what's going to come through. I'm just trusting the energy as it flows. I found more and more as time goes on that when doing this type of spiritual work, it's the flow that's the most important thing and what I trust the most. I do very, very little preparation for these videos, which works great for me because it fits with my spontaneous way of doing this work. It means that there's a lot less for me to think about, which means that it's easier to relax in my life. And it's a real contrast to how I used to do things when I was studying medicine and working as a junior researcher in psychology, where if I had a presentation, I would be working out every single word that I was going to say, getting every single little detail sorted out, and memorizing the whole thing, getting extremely stressed about it, and then eventually forcing myself to do it. And I would get good results doing that because I think I was able to memorize these things in such a way where it sounded like it was natural, but it absolutely wasn't. It was just me desperately trying to figure everything out and lay it all out perfectly so that other people would be satisfied with the result. This feels a lot more natural and authentic and works a lot better for me. So Dragon Medicine Group 2 is going into the middle chakra dragons on Tuesday, the 22nd of October. From the time that I'm recording that, this is next Tuesday. So as many of you will know, when we move between groups of dragons, that dragon medicine group will open its doors again to new participants, which means that you can join Dragon Medicine Group 2 on the 22nd of October. And this group has just completed the lower chakra dragons, so the red root chakra dragon, the terracotta sacral chakra dragon, and the golden solar chakra dragon. And they're moving into the green heart chakra dragon. The middle chakra dragons are the heart chakra, the throat chakra, and the third-eye chakra dragons. So you can have a look at the other videos on this channel where I've channeled those different beings, get a feel for them, and get a sense of whether dragon medicine is the kind of thing that you would like to be involved in. It's similar to when I'm channeling. During each of the sessions, we have a check-in at the beginning for the live participants, then we start recording, and then I will channel one of the dragons, whichever dragon we're working with at the moment. They will do a session that's similar to the videos that I upload on here when I channel them, except it's got more of a structure to it, and also they listen intently to what's coming up in the live session. So when people are sharing about what's going on in their lives, the different ups and downs in their lives, what's happening within them spiritually, and they share about that and have an opportunity to be heard and witnessed, and I give a bit of feedback for them. And during that time, the dragons are listening, if you like, and then they will create a bespoke session based on that, which they kind of work into like a rough structure that they have generally for the way that they do things. It's been a really interesting process for me because, like I was mentioning before, I kind of like to know what's happening, and there's still a bit of that in me. So sometimes, especially early on when I was running this program, I'd sit down and be like, okay, what are we doing this week? What's the structure? What's the plan? And the more more sessions I did, the more the dragons were like, you don't need any structure or plan. We're not going to give you any structure or plan. We just want you to sit down and then we will flow through you. And I realize now that one of the reasons why they did that was partly to build my trust in them, which has happened, but also to the spontaneity allows something unique to be created in that moment for the people who have been expressing themselves in the live. So it's more tailor-made. And then we do a question and answer after that. The dragon will take us through a guided meditation, really a meditative journey to help us to deepen our direct connection with that specific chakra. After that journey, then there's the opportunity to share or to ask questions to the dragon, which I feel is an important part. Like oftentimes people will have powerful experiences during those guided meditations, and it's important that people have the opportunity to share. And oftentimes when they do, that they're sharing for more than just themselves, because other people in the group have had similar experiences. And then we wrap it up. So there are two different options to join. There's the live version, which is where you're in that live group that I was talking about. So you attend the full live session. You're there at the beginning. You're there for the check-in, which is about 40 minutes. It's like check-in and discussion time. And then there's about 50 minutes after that, which is all recorded. And if you book in for the live sessions, then you get the whole thing. If you book in for the recorded only sessions, then you just get that recording at the end. So the recording only option is good if you've got work commitments and you're unable to attend the lives. Also good if you just kind of need to go at your own pace, or if you're someone who doesn't really like getting involved in these live sessions so much. I know that we're all different, and for some people it's really valuable and rewarding, and for other people it could be too intense, or it just kind of doesn't fit with their general way of doing things. So both those options are available, and there are also scholarships for both of those options for people on low incomes. Okay, so that's on the 22nd of October, which is Tuesday. There'll be a link in the description of this video. Check it out, have a look, see if it feels right for you. If it does, you can sign up through my website, through the link in the description below. So I'm going to do a channeling for you today, and I can feel who it's going to be. It's going to be Cy'thwaete, who is the Third-Eye Chakra Dragon, and the final dragon of the middle chakra dragons that the group I was just talking about will be working with in a couple of months. So I don't really feel I've got anything more to say. I'm just going to allow them to come through. One thing worth pointing out, just to see if you're sensitive to this, like every time I sit down to do a video like this, there's an immediate energy transmission. And some of you will be able to feel that. And I know I've just talked about what's going on in dragon medicine. And to me, that's kind of like logistics, right? It's like just kind of sorting things out and not particularly spiritual. Yet, the whole time that I've been speaking, I've been feeling a transmission of spiritual energy. And it happens every time I sit down like this. And it's a really interesting phenomenon, because it's something that I've heard a lot of teachers talk about. And it goes, you can even look this up, like from hundreds of years ago, people talking about this, that when someone is really truly invited into the role of being a spiritual teacher, it's not really them that is doing the teaching. They're being used as a vehicle for that teaching. So you could say source or God or the universe, or however you want to phrase it, is making use of their vessel to transmit itself through them to others. And that's what it feels to me when I sit down to do these videos. And it's in some ways a strange thing, because I can be talking about almost anything and it'll just happen. It just clicks into place. And it's also quite a beautiful thing because it feels like being part of a community of people who have been chosen to do this kind of work. And I feel that that's just kind of what happens sometimes in our lives. Like, we are gravitated in certain directions and everybody has their direction. I'm also not saying that every single person who calls themselves a spiritual teacher will be doing this. In fact, I'm certain that many people who call themselves spiritual teachers aren't really spiritual teachers, because I think it's quite an attractive option. I think spiritual teachers can get quite a lot of respect and authority, and people give their power away to us, which I really don't want. Just to throw that out there, I don't want you to give me your power. I really don't want that. In fact, I find it quite draining when people do throw their power at me. I would much rather you just kept your power and we can all just have our power and not create any strange energetic knots between us. But I think it's quite an attractive option for people who are really not ready to do this work, to act like they are having the experiences that I was just talking about. And I think there's some pretty notable examples both throughout history and also who are practicing presently who are like this. I'm just raising this point because it's something that I'm going to keep raising, because we all need to actually have discernment. We actually need to be able to decide for ourselves whether or not we align with someone and be honest about whether or not we are giving away our power to somebody. And I just want to raise that with you all. Just a bit of housekeeping, bit of energetic housekeeping, bit of emotional housekeeping. Let's all just stay in our own lanes. Let's all keep our own integrity. We don't need to be unhealthily blending with other people or giving away our power to charlatans, or indeed becoming a charlatan. Let's all just be real and stop all this fakery. So I've been channeling the blue dragon quite a bit lately, so I've been feeling his power, and I think that's coming through me. It's activating something in my system. But today I'm going to be channeling a being who is a lot more soft and gentle than he is, and it's Cy'thwaete, Third-Eye Chakra Dragon of the Rising Rose. I'll bring her through for you now. Giannalayuna. Gananayun. Kionarayone. Kiananan. Kiananan. So I'm just tuning myself in. Kiananan. Here we go. Kianarayon. Just one more moment and I'll be in properly. Cy'thwaete, Cy'thwaete, Cy'thwaete. I am Cy'thwaete, Third-Eye Chakra Dragon of the Rising Rose. I am part of the Third-Eye Chakra of the cosmos. My body resides in the Third-Eye Chakra of the cosmos, and my long dragon neck extends out from the center of the cosmos, out of the center of the Third-Eye Chakra of the cosmos, like an artery extending itself out of the heart. And I move throughout the body and I provide the energies of the Third-Eye Chakra of the cosmos to many parts of this living world, this living galaxy, this living universe. So I provide the nourishing waters of the Third-Eye Chakra of the cosmos. Good, my energies are coming in. Though I'm part of the so-called middle chakra dragons, you could call me upper middle because I am part of this region moving upward and the upper part of the body, which is the heavenly part of the body. The third eye and the crown are particularly heavenly dimensions. If you've listened to the white dragon speak, she will often describe herself as being located in the throne room of the palace of the city of heaven, which is a good way of describing it. These different layers, heavenly layers, celestial layers, layers of your own self-discovery, of your own spiritual awakening. So there is that centermost point, which you might call the throne room of heaven, the place where, this is just an analogy, so don't take this too literally, the place where God sits on the throne. You can replace the word God with whatever feels right for you, whatever you need, however you frame it. So there is that throne room, which is where she resides, but then there is the palace that is all around the throne room, and that is like the crown chakra, and the crown chakra dragon, Ishmekhal. And then there is the city that surrounds the palace. And you could say that my energy is the energy of that city that surrounds the palace, which you could call the outermost layer of heaven. The first part of heaven that you enter when you leave the more mortal or ordinary realms of existence. So I'm Cy'thwaete, Third-Eye Chakra Dragon of the Rising Rose, and I am part of the city of heaven. You could imagine me as like a waterfall flowing out of the city of heaven that is based in that city, but that flows outward, almost like heaven is a city floating in the stars, and it is surrounded by water, and water rises up out of some mystical spring underneath the streets of heaven, and then it overflows from those lowermost streets out of heaven itself as vast cascading waterfalls of divine energy. So you could say that that's a little bit like what I am. Like a waterfall of divine energy flowing out of heaven toward the earth. Now, why am I here today? I can hear Jack in the back of our mind. For the moment, it's our mind. We're sharing it. I can hear him say, well, these people, they've come here and they have all sorts of reasons for being here. Some of them just out of interest or curiosity, and some are looking for something a little more specific. Some of them are in need of help and guidance. So what can we give them? Is what he's saying. Not exactly in those words, but energetically I could translate his feeling into that. Well, the most simple answer is that I'm here to give direct energy transmission. I'm already flowing the waters of heaven to you all. You can see it in my image, you can feel it in my voice. Maybe. For those of you whose third eye has opened somewhat, to varying degrees, you will have some sense of it. To those of you who don't sense it, that's okay. The time will come. Some of you who don't sense these things so much may be putting yourselves down, and so there's something wrong with you that you don't sense these things. Well, you don't need to do that to yourself, for it's truly everything in life has two edges. There's the good side of having an open third eye, and then there's the bad side. Some have very open third eyes and can experience all sorts of things that you might find absolutely incredible, yet that can be very overwhelming and can make it hard to function in everyday life. So there are pros and cons with these things. It's not all good, and the grass can always seem greener when you're on the other side. So rather than thinking about what other people might have that you might not have, why not focus on what you do have? Why not focus on the fact that if you are not quite so sensitive spiritually, that you are probably more grounded as a person. You may have things more organized in your relative life. You may have more things in order, because there is a link between struggling materially and having quite an open third eye. There are challenges that come along with it that make it more difficult to navigate the ordinary 3D life. That can mean that it's harder to manage your life and earn the income that you desire for yourself and these kinds of things. So there are always pros and cons. And sometimes you will have lived a life that's very grounded and your senses aren't quite so open, so that you could have a firm foundation upon which to open those resources, your third eye. And then things can flow more easily, and you can start having all sorts of interesting and wonderful experiences from quite a grounded place. There are so many different ways that human beings can awaken. Please do not limit yourself to the perception that you see in another. Do not look at another person and go, oh, they are the one who is right and I am the one who is wrong. That is not the way to go. You do not need to do that to yourselves. Of course, I am an aid to your opening third eye. I'm going to go quiet for a moment because I'm going to channel some energies to help with that. So as you know, there's a great remembrance happening at the moment. Many human beings are awakening, and you may be one of these who has recently been awakening to the dragon energies, because many of you have begun this journey into the dragon consciousness, which will obviously continue for many, many years, and we will be a part of your life for a long time. But in this Chinese year of the dragon, it's especially strong for us to be entering. And we are helping you with remembrance. We are bringing remembrance in. What remembrance of what, you might ask? Well, a link to the stars. That's what I help with. The stars are like the twinkling visions of your own mind. They are like your own consciousness, expanded throughout space and time. They are like eyes that you've forgotten how to see out of. They are illuminations in a vast mystery, and they are a part of who you are. Vast knowledge is contained in the stars. I don't mean the knowledge of astronomy, though its intellectual and conceptual understanding is useful. I'm talking about the knowledge of existence, the knowledge of being. All the stars are, they all exist. They all exist. And for millions of years they have been shining, looking, for their light is like the eye of God. Just like your sun, which is a star to other solar systems. So there is a vast network of knowledge there, beneath your feet are mycelial networks, fungal networks, plant-based networks of information sharing and consciousness. What I'm speaking about is like a mycelial network above, in the sky. In the sky. The sky itself is a living being. In many indigenous cultures, they will refer to the sky as Father Sky. The sky is a living being. You could even say it is more alive than you, for it is far older and has experienced far more than you could ever imagine. Yet, you are deeply and intimately connected with this sky, which could be said to be a physical representation of your own mind, or your own father mind, the greater mind of your own self. There are many energetic movements that flow through this Father Sky, like rivers of energy. And these flows that exist in the sky above you are like a microcosm of the macrocosm that is the network of stars that exist throughout space above you, throughout these many galaxies in this vast, vast, vast universe. Now, if your consciousness can expand into the sky and then expand through the sky into space and the stars, your mind starts to connect with knowledge, raw understanding of this living universe, in much the same way as a cell in the body, when connected with the body through nerve cells, becomes in tune with the knowledge of the body as a whole, sent to it via the nervous system. So you could think of these pathways of energy in the sky much like the nervous system of the body. And it is important that you, as a cell in the body, be connected with this nervous system so that you can be plugged into and receive information from the cosmos as a single being. The cell that you are will function much better when it is connected with the body of the universe. That will aid you greatly. And my role here as a kind of guide of consciousness is to aid you in your reconnection. I am far more interested in aiding you in your reconnection than I am in becoming some kind of font of knowledge for you. I don't really want to be the one that you need to refer to all the time in order to feel like you have knowledge. I want to just help plug you back into the knowledge that is already yours, the knowledge that exists in the sky above you, the knowledge that is flowing through this galaxy, this cosmos, all the time. You see, you are the entire cosmos, and you have, through the limitations of your form to a varying degree, access to all of this immense cosmic knowledge. So much can flow to you, so much can easily be understood and downloaded, that we do not need to turn anyone into your superior. You do not need to turn me into your superior. I am simply a reflection of you, a memory of you returning to you. So, I'm really just coming here with words of inspiration. There is more that I can do and say to help you to plug into that vast array of cosmic knowledge, but I simply do not have the time to do so right now. This is really just a taster, a sense of what could be, a sense of remembrance that you can step into as time feels more right for you. So thank you for your time today, and I look forward to seeing you soon.